Hello, my lovely grade 7 class. Welcome to StudyWave Academy, where education is without limits. Now, we are still focusing on the introduction of speech and organs of speech. We've so far looked at different things. We've looked at what speeches are and have even introduced some organs to you. I've introduced some organs of speech to you. I've introduced the lungs. I've gone ahead and introduced the trachea. I've introduced the vocal cords. I've even introduced the oral cavity, and with the oral cavity, it includes the lips, the tongue, the teeth, and the hard and soft palates. Then I introduced the nasal cavity. I introduced the phonetics, and then I went ahead and introduced the articulators, and further gave examples of the lip articulation when you speak certain sounds or speak certain words. Then I went to the tongue articulation and showed you how to speak out certain sounds or certain letters or certain words. Then went ahead and looked at the nasal resonance and the vocal cord vibration, and then summarized everything about these organs of speech. So right now, after looking at those organs, we want to understand them, right? We want to visually see them and visually see where they are. So I will basically show you 3 different pictures and we try to find these organs for ourselves, and then I will give you an activity at the end of this session. So I want you to take note of what we will be discussing. Please pay attention because it's very, very essential for us to see these organs in a visual representation and understand what they are. So here's the diagram of the main or of the organs of speech. Okay, so look at my diagram here. So in this diagram, you notice that we have some of the organs of speech that we talked about. We have the lips, we have the teeth, we have the alveolar ridge, and this one we haven't talked about. So there you will notice that in these images that I will show you, there's some organs we've talked about and there's some that we've not talked about. So today I've specifically looked at the main organs, or the main organs that we should know for now. As the more you grow, as you continue growing, you will learn these organs, you will get to understand them and learn different organs that help us during our speech or in delivering our speech. Okay, so now let's move on and look at these organs. So first of all, we have I'll read what I have here. We have the lips, we have the teeth, we have the alveolar ridge, okay, we have the tongue, we have the larynx, we have the vocal cords, epiglottis, the pharynx, soft palate, the uvula, and the hard palates. Okay, so look at this drawing. Let's focus on the ones we looked at. So we find the lips and the teeth, we put them under we put them under one branch, or under one branch, and that is the, who can remember, we put them under the, here we put them under the one cavity or one branch. Here we put them under the oral cavity. So I wanted to show you this. So with the lips, the tongue, the teeth, we put them under the oral cavity, but in our diagram here it's been separated, which is still okay. So we have the lips, so you can see the lips, teeth, lip. So we have the upper lip here, we have the lower lip here. So I want you to look at where I'm pointing. Okay, so look at where I'm pointing. So we have the upper lip here, okay, follow with me. We have the lower lip here, then we have the teeth here. So this is the teeth and this is the teeth. So here is the teeth and here is the teeth. Then this is the upper lip and this is the lower lip. Then you have the tongue, you have the tip, blade, the front, the back, the vocal cords here. So the vocal cords are somewhere on your in your neck, inside there. So that's where you find the vocal cords. Okay, we have the uvula, the pharynx, the epiglottis, the larynx, the esophagus here, the trachea, the soft and the hard palates. So you've heard me talk about soft and hard palates, the teeth, the pharynx, the epiglottis. So now you're looking at them in a visual representation. So we have the nasal cavity here. So when you talk about the nasal cavity, you're talking about the nose specifically. So the nose is here. So we have the nasal cavity here, okay? Then here, below the nasal cavity, we have the soft and the hard palates. So the hard palate comes first. It comes first here. Then we have the soft palate follows behind it. Then down there we have the uvula, okay, or the uvula, okay. Then we have the pharynx here. Then we have the epiglottis. So here is the epiglottis here, okay. Then the larynx is here, okay. Then the esophagus is here. Esophagus is here. Then the trachea is here. So now see the trachea. The trachea, we talked about it being the passage of air from the lungs to the nasal cavity or to the oral cavity. So here's the trachea. Then we have the vocal cord somewhere here. So this is the first diagram of the organs. This is the first diagram. So take a minute or two to study it and understand this diagram before we move to the next diagram. So like I promised, I will show you a variety of diagrams because I want you to really understand the concept, understand what you're really talking about, and get to learn the different organs and even visually see them or where they're positioned. So now let's shift to this second diagram. So with the second diagram, again, it's just the same representation like the first diagram, but here with the second diagram, we have the same features but in a different outlook or a different appearance, okay. So let me show you here. Let me show you. So we have the tongue here. Everyone is seeing my movement. So we have the tongue here. So we have behind the tongue now we have the nasal cavity, just like in the other picture. The nasal cavity here. Then the palate is here. But I told you the hard palate comes first, then behind it is the soft palate. So the other one was just an in-depth view or an inside view of the organs, but this one is also giving a clear picture too. So the more we continue, the more I want you to do this on your own too. So with the palates, we have the soft and the hard palate, okay. So with the soft and the hard palates, I talked about the soft being behind the head palate here, okay. Then here we have the oral cavity. So here we talked about your mouth, your teeth, your tongue, your lips. So all this is the oral cavity. I hope you're following with me, okay. Then we have the velum. This one we didn't talk about it, okay. Then we have the pharynx. The pharynx is here. Then the epiglottis is here. Then we have the larynx. The larynx is here. Then we have the trachea here. Then the lungs here. Then the diaphragm. So this one shows a good picture of the diaphragm, the one we're talking about that contracts and pushes your air outwards. So there's the air pushed outwards here. So the diaphragm pushes the air outwards. So look at this. Very important to take note. So the diaphragm will push the air out, okay. So don't forget the diaphragm here. It pushes the air out through the trachea and through the nasal cavity or the oral cavity. So take a moment to and study this picture and try to understand what it's about, okay. After this, we will look at the third picture. So class, the reason as to why I'm showing you all these pictures is because I want you to well understand where these organs are found and even see them visually and try understand them. And even when you ask, where's the teeth found, where's the pharynx found, where's the glottis found, you're able to point it out very easily without any shame or any fear. So again, I've given you another image here because I want you as my class to really understand these organs. So I'll talk about the ones we talked about, okay. So now the nasal cavity is here. Look at it. Then here we have the teeth dentals. Then we have the lips here. So here are the lips, okay. Inside the lips we have the tongue here, okay. Then we have the tip we have the blade, we have the glottis here, we have the trachea here, we have the esophagus here, we have the pharynx here, and then the uvula and the velum. Okay, so some of we've discussed, some we've not discussed, and it's still okay. The main purpose for you today is try understand these organs and even have the chance to visually see them and understand them, so that the next time you're asked, you can easily answer and state where each one is found. So right now I want us to move to our first activity, our first activity. And in this activity, it's very simple. When I started, I told you to just simply concentrate on what I'm saying. So I want to make it more clear. I want to get my pen here so that I can show you. So when I started, you see this picture here is just the same like any other picture we've looked at. All these three images we've looked at, it's the same picture, same images, same organs that we're talking about. So the organs that I talked about are the organs I want us to use here. So look at the first activity here. So in this activity, what do I expect you to do? So the vocal organs are all found in this human being here. Okay, so I have made it simpler for you, and I've given you some names here of some parts we've talked about. So I've made it so easy for you so that you can see some parts that we talked about. Okay, so your work is going to be easy. Just look at the word and try locate where it is. So when you're talking about the oral cavity, okay, I'll give an example. You'll talk about these are the lips. Okay, so these are the lips here. You'll point out and maybe write the lips. So you write in full. I don't have space, so you'll write in full the lips. Then inside here maybe is the tongue, so you'll talk about the tongue here. Okay, maybe the teeth is here. You point it out, talk about the teeth. Then here you talk about the nasal cavity. Okay, like we say, the nasal cavity. Here you'll talk about the esophagus. Yeah, this one you'll talk about the epiglottis. So I don't want to do for you. It's quite simple, very, very simple. So let me give you a trick to do this. So first of all, to make sure that you've understood, do not copy or do not use any of the images I've given you to like remind yourself. So what you do, sit down slowly, try think of what we've learned, and then with your own knowledge and your own expertise, come here and try attach every part to its word here. So if you're talking about the epiglottis, I want you to come here, get an arrow and write beside it epiglottis. Okay, so that is the first activity. Very, very simple. Again, I don't want to make it complex because I want us to understand and have fun doing this activity. So I've given you the organs already here. I've given you the organ names already. So your work is to just attach a name here with its respective part here. Take a name and attach with its respective part. Okay, so that is the first activity you'll do. So you can, and then after you're done, so the first step I told you, do not copy, just try by yourself, try fix in where the corresponding part is with the word. Okay, so try fix that for yourself. So here, so that's the first part. You try just fix out a part and its corresponding word. So you look at the word and try fix its corresponding part. Okay, then once you've done this alone, now go back to our reading. Try analyze by yourself again. So look at our reading and try look at the ones you've gotten right and the ones that you failed, and ask yourself, like, how much did you fail? Were you close enough to the answer, or did you just miss it slightly? Once you're able to answer this question, you will be able to assess yourself and know that you are going on well, like you know what you really are doing and you're understanding the lesson. And if you missed it, then you have a chance to work on it, improve, and do some correction and correct yourself. So I expect you to first start the work without seeing from anywhere. Okay, so you start doing the work without seeing. Then after that, you can now move and use the readings to help you figure out the parts and the corresponding